A confused mind will never buy. A confused mind will never buy. Just because your value, your price point, your product, your service, whatever it is that you do makes sense in your mind. When you read your website copy, it looks amazing. Your graphics, your videos, amazing. Your LinkedIn profile on point. Your branding on fleek. You feel like you've checkmarked everything off the list in your mind as to why your business should be XYZ. The value, the clients, the perception, all of these things. You feel it makes sense to you. And I've said this time and time and time again on this podcast. It don't mean a thing if it doesn't translate to your ideal buyer. Don't make people have to exert more energy to understand what it is that you do, who it is that you serve, the range of what the cost might be, the opportunities that come from it, the outcome, the experience, what's in it for me. Don't make it harder for people. We live in our own world sometimes. If you're a tech company, if you're a B2B company, if you're an agency, if you're a startup, if you're a CEO or high-level executive, you typically, not trying to offend, but you typically think in a certain way, in a certain lens, and you think based off those viewpoints, everyone else sees it the same way you do. This is why we see a lot of startups who think they have the best thing since sliced bread, but the market says, nah, it don't make sense. Then we see someone else who have the same concept, but everyone gets it. And they are a unicorn and poof, their valuation is $1 billion in no time. Why is that? Why is that? It's because of clarity. A confused mind will never buy, but a clear mind at the right time will always choose to buy. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. Cue my ads. How much time should you spend prospecting? How do you navigate generating sales at a very robust startup? What are some essential strategies to grow through a recession? Outbound Squad, formerly Blissful Prospecting, hosted by Jason Bay, brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, dives in with leading sales experts and top performing reps to share actionable tips and strategies to help you land more meetings with your ideal clients. If you're a listener of I Digress, you already know how important it is not only to articulate your messaging, your branding, but also be able to sell. There's an art, a science, and a strategy to it, and Outbound Squad will help you do it. Listen to Outbound Squad wherever you get your podcasts. Clarity is a powerful thing to have. When you are able to remove complexity, confusion, complications, and clutter from your brand messaging, from your marketing, from the entire business equation, you're left with one thing: clarity. And that clarity can help you generate consistent business conversions and amplify your community advocates. I've talked so much about clarity. Let me just name some episodes. Episode 24, how to activate the power of strategy to achieve business success. Episode 29, how to master the 3 modalities to grow your business. Episode 33, how to determine if you're the Tylenol or the chocolate cake to your audience. Episode 37, how to build trust currency, a masterclass on increasing brand equity. Episode 43, how to define your number to achieve your business goals this year. All these episodes emphasize one keyword: clarity. Being clear about your branding, being clear about your positioning, being clear about your messaging, being clear about your price infrastructure, being clear about your value, being clear about your deliverables, being clear about your timelines, being clear about what it is that you want.
What's up, digital world? You're listening to the I Digress audio experience with Troy Sandidge. Social media, marketing, storytelling, business, culture, and more. Coming to you in 3, 2, 1.
The biggest reason we're not getting to where we want to go, scratch that. The biggest reason you're not getting to where you want to go is because you are not being clear enough about your ask. You're not being clear enough about your price. You're not being clear enough about your audience. You're not being clear enough about the very things you need to do to get to where you want to go. And I'm going to sit with that with you in this moment. You may be mad at me. You may say, Troy, that's not true. That's not me. I know exactly who my audience is. Let me be clear, no pun intended, But I digress about what I mean. I'm not saying you don't know that your target audience is a B2B tech company that ranges from 3.5 million to 25 million that specializes in a specific MVP to help educational organizations. Cool. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, are you speaking in the language to those individuals that you're getting more clients? I'm not talking more buzz. I'm not talking more website views. I'm not even talking more sales conversations. I'm talking about when you compare your efforts to that specific niche audience, do they know you exist in that realm? Are you the leading provider of that service or that deliverable for that particular niche? And if so, are these meetings converting? I love when I have a client meeting and our first meeting and they tell me the endless list of all things that they're doing. Guess what? 90% of it is just busy work. It ain't moving the needle one bit. Not an inch. They're hoping for miles and they're not even getting an inch. But I have to explain it in a way where it doesn't crush them. It's explained in a way to put them in perspective of, you want to win the championship, but you're on a losing streak like the Lakers to start off the season. No shade to my Lakers fans out there. I'm just trying to bring it all home for somebody. But you think you're in contention for a championship right now, where you're structured. And everyone else all around you is like, you are not ready. You don't make sense. This doesn't translate. That's too low of a price. Or that's too high of a price. Or you're speaking to the wrong people. Even though in your mind, you think that you are. And it's breaking down to think less of what you think this needs to be and resetting yourself and getting the clarity around, what does my business need to become to the people that need me, that will pay me or my company the most money, and the work or the deliverable or the product that I provide in return is easy, it's low cost, I can actually make a profit on it and scale eventually down the road. That's the deep work of clarity that I'm referring to. It's time to take control of your social media marketing. Stay organized, save time, and easily manage your social media with Agorapulse's inbox, publishing, reporting, monitoring, and team collaboration tools. Did you know that over 31,000 social media managers use Agorapulse daily? It's a one easy-to-use solution loaded with powerful features. Everything you need to dominate the day with social media, fortified with the industry's #1 rated customer support. I even offer exclusively for listeners of my podcast a 2-month free trial of Agorapulse. Yeah, anyone can say, I need to be on LinkedIn because that's where all the business decision makers are. Cool, but guess what? There's plenty of people who are talking to the head of organizations on Instagram. They have their intention, they got contracts, and they're making money. And they're not selling an e-commerce business. They're in B2B, selling a $5.5 million product. What's the difference? They are clear about who they're talking to. They're clear about what the platform needs to be. They're clear about the message. They're clear about the hook. They're clear about the experience. They're clear about every single thing. And they don't waver from that because they've done the testing, they've seen it work, and they've doubled down on it to expedite and activate those opportunities and everything around it. Are you doing that? Are you doing that level of clarity, that level of deep work? If your audience is down to a science where you know the people who are going to buy from you, why is it so hard for that particular group of people to buy from you then? In the last 30 days, how many sales calls have you had? How many activation conversations have you had from your marketing efforts? How many people have visited your profile who would be an ideal client or customer from you based off the content that you created? Of those website views, how many can you quantify from a location, from a touch point, from a piece of content that would identify with they have a demand for what we provide? And then how many have you closed in the last 30 days? How many of you have moved down your CRM funnel? Are they still stuck in the activation nurturing phase? But you know your audience, right? Well, Troy, it's not all about sales. It's all about nurturing. It's all about love, giving value. Are you receiving enough value back? If you really need a crash course on value, go to episode 14. I got you covered. I got you covered. Go back. Listen closely to what I said about defining what value is and making sure that you're receiving enough value back. Fast forward to now in this moment, on this particular episode, we are done with the basicness of defining what my business product is and who do I serve. That's cute. That's great. That's business 101. We're trying to make you money. You trying to get 5 figures or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. You trying to break that ceiling to get that additional 0. We don't got time to talk on the most basic of basic obvious things anymore. You have to grow up in your business. You have to evolve with your copy. You have to elevate with your positioning. And you got to have that increased swagger with your branding. Clarity. Are you clear enough about what it is that you need to do? What your team needs to do? Who you need to become? Who you need to serve? Who you need to network with? Who you need to leave behind? Who you need to spend less time nurturing in order to elevate yourself to a place, to create the space so you can win the day for real this time. Let's not stop at our goal being, I want 20 more leads this week. I want 10 more Zoom calls this week. I want to see my Calendly flooded with things. That's great. That's a great endorphin. But the greatest endorphin is seeing those checks coming in and clearing the bank. Cha-ching, boom. Invoice been paid. Cha-ching, boom. PR campaign's been paid. Cha-ching, boom. Sponsorship deal's been paid. I want y'all to get money. I mean real money. I mean, whatever you making is probably great, but I know you got more in you that you want to make. And I want to help you make it. Because I don't know about you. I'm going to keep it real. Of course, I have goals. And I've achieved a lot this year. But I have worked myself to the bone this year. And I want to achieve the same level of success, or maybe even more, by doing less. But that requires me a new level of clarity. There are levels to this thing, like we're peeling back an onion. And it's difficult at first because we're crying. It's burning our eyes. Change is hard. Growth is hard. When you elevate to higher statuses, the air gets thinner. And it takes a while for you to train yourself to be as functional in an environment where there's less air. It's thinner. But once you train yourself, you get your sea legs on for the next level that you're in. You're ready to rock these waves a little bit more. Then we can move forward. Customer success isn't just about thinking how your customers can win right now. It's thinking about what will always help them win. Helping your customers win starts with tools that can weather any storm that comes your way. Tools that help you have meaningful conversations with your customers at scale. That help your business grow with customizable apps you actually use. That can keep your data secure and connected so you always have a full 360-degree picture. HubSpot is an all-in-one CRM platform that is impossible to outgrow and ridiculously easy to use, meaning you never have to worry about it slowing you down. That's because HubSpot is purpose-built for real businesses. Businesses that test, businesses that learn, businesses that pivot, businesses that push and do it all again next quarter and next year and beyond. With customizable hubs and tools that can add or subtract as you grow, HubSpot is ready to help you and your customers win always. Learn how HubSpot can help your business grow better at HubSpot.com. I'm going to keep it as real as possible. I've struggled with this my entire time in business. You see, there's many times when people say, I'm now the strategy hacker, which is registered. It is not just for play branding. You look me up, it is registered under my business. And what I sell is clarity, growth, activation, optimization of marketing and branding and copywriting to achieve more profitability, more MRR, better marketing tactics, improvement of searchability and discoverability, and increase in community, all the little things you need to build a structure to scale, right? We have the foundation, but there's levels. If you're building a skyscraper, you need to add more anchor points as you keep growing, as you keep growing, as you keep growing. The other thing that I bring to the table is that I'm a futurist. I'm a visionary. So you can throw anything at me and I'm already thinking of solutions. I'm already thinking, how do I propel you to this level that maybe you don't even believe that you can get to, right? Problem is, certain individuals and certain brands, certain companies, and depending on where you are in your business and where you are in your world and whatever value you bestow upon what I'm doing, would quantify it differently. Well, Troy, that seems like a one-time thing. I'll pay you max $5,000 for it. Someone else may be like, you know what? I need someone like you on my team. I'll pay you $25,000 a month for it. Someone else is like, What can I get for $500, bro? 1 hour of your time? Cool, bet. And they didn't want to talk to me no more. And it's you understanding and being clear, not just about what it is that you want, but clear about how is your marketing and selling and copywriting and content landing with these individuals. And then you're going to disqualify the industries, the individuals, the personality types that don't align with what you're trying to achieve. I know the value that I bring to the table is worth what I want. It's worth 10 grand a month, 25 grand a month, because I've done the work. I've given folk insights. They've done it and it's worked. They've got acquired. They reached $1 billion status. They've scaled their team by 500%. Their MRR is through the roof from where we started. All these different things. But you have to understand, the higher you raise your prices, the more you want in return requires a certain level of nuance. You have to be able to meet those individuals where they are and justify what you do to that value point. But on the flip side, it gets easier because someone's like, I need that person. The price point, not a problem. Let's get started. And if you're getting so much resistance, you're either not being clear to this individual enough, or you're talking to the wrong folk. If someone has an illness and it's bad, the person who can probably help them remove their pain probably doesn't have to do as much marketing. They find them, they read their content, I'm sold. When do I get started? I'll either pay it all up front, or I'm going to find a way to pay you. I'm going to get a monthly payment plan, whatever it is, because I need this solution to remove my pain. Remember my episode 33, chocolate cake or Tylenol. And in most cases, people want that hit of Tylenol and then they get a chocolate cake. Please remove my pain. So how much is it worth it for you? How much is it worth it for them to pay you to remove their pain? Is what you're charging matching what they're willing to pay? If it's not, you're probably either not explaining enough value or you're talking to the wrong folk. If the pain is great enough, they will find the money and they will come back and they will pay you whatever your terms are. If it's all up front or if you're willing to allow them to pay monthly. But we got to be clear about what it is that we want. And if it's so, be willing to deal with the consequences that come with it. More money could mean a longer sales cycle, because if someone has to pay you $500,000, $2 million, or even let's go lower, $50,000, $10,000 a month, or for one product or a period of time, that may be difficult for someone to just decide to do that versus someone who's charging $100, maybe even $1,000 for something at one time. And that's the other thing I need you to be clear about. We can compare ourselves to other folk and not process. They're charging at a rate, or they're speaking to B2C, D2C, that it's a lower margin. There's less friction for them to just relinquish the money. There's less risk because there's less money. So if they pay $1,000 and it don't work, they don't feel as bad versus paying 10 grand or 100 grand. Then they're mad. The other thing that you hear a lot of consultants say, and I believe it to be true because I've now done it. If you haven't had to pay a business coach or a strategic partner or an agency X amount of dollars, and you don't know what that experience feels like, you really can't charge someone that same amount of money because you don't know what they are like. You don't know what it feels like to be in those shoes. You don't know the issues that come up with that type of stuff, the expectations. Sometimes when someone gives you $50,000, they want to report every week. And other times they don't, because $50,000 to them is nothing because they're, a multi-million or a multi-billion-dollar company. But you have to understand what layer these individuals are. There's a whole psychological approach to understanding the clarity that you need to understand both sides and align in the middle to make it make sense. And we don't do enough of the deep work. We rush to market. We rush to do social media. We rush to do all these things and say all these words and don't think for 1 second, the language that I'm using, is it speaking to the exact person with the exact amount of money, with the exact pain point at the right time, on the right platform, who when they see it, when they hear it, when they watch it, their eyes are going to get bigger. Their ears are going to get more attentive. They're going to be more focused. And they're going to be like, take my money. That is who you're trying to reach. All this other stuff is just smoke and mirrors. That's how clear you need to be, or that's how clear you need to become. And it's an ongoing, on-learning thing. If the pandemic has taught us anything, is that who we thought our audience was, who we thought we would serve. We've seen platforms that were created for one thing shifted and immediately scaled because they took the transferable product, services, or things that they do well, and they fit it to an industry or specific group that needed it the most willing to pay the most for it for a long duration of time. We can get so stuck in, I'm a social media marketing person that only serves small businesses because it's easier for me to get that business. I relate, the conversations are great, I feel good and warm inside, but I complain about how I'm always being a small business. Sorry if that lands with anyone else because I've been there, I know what that feels like. So I'm coming from a place of truth versus I want to scale my business. I want to be mid-level. I want to hit that 200,000 to 300,000 range or that 500,000 range or that $1 million plus range. I want to be a 7-figure CEO. That means you got to play with 7-figure businesses. Am I wrong? If you're only going to be a big fish in a small pond, don't complain how you don't have any more room to grow. It may feel uncomfortable being a smaller fish in a bigger pond, but you can always grow in a bigger pond than you can a smaller pond. And so many of you, so many businesses out there are complacent and content with just remaining the big fish in the small pond. And they're not willing to adventure out into bigger waters to get more opportunity. Scared money don't make money, y'all. There is risk involved in order to grow. Change is awkward, but without change, nothing can become. And when you're clear about that, and you're clear in your marketing and your messaging and your operations about all those things, and create the milestones, the growth plan to do that, you'll start seeing things happening for you. And if you need someone to help you, I may know somebody who just so happens to be the host of the show who has the type of mind and personality and drive and connections and network and ability to help you do so. And I say that with humility, but with all the confidence in the universe because I can. Now, will it cost something? Yeah, because homeboy needs to make some money. That's how this works. You get to a point where I can't break this ceiling. I can help you break this ceiling. Well, how much is that pain of not breaking that ceiling going to feel like that you're willing to pay for me and does align with what I charge? Period. Full stop. And if you can't afford me, it's not a problem. That's what this podcast is for. That's what my book is for. StrategizeUpBook.com. $20. Have at it. There's a lot of stuff in there that can help you. I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to just keep it real. We're all trying to make money in this thing. We're all just trying to grow. We want to get that next level of growth. Let's just be real with it. Put in the work to be clear about what the marketplace is telling you. And make sure that if you are targeting that marketplace, there's enough demand for you. Or you're so clear about the opportunity and the value that you create the demand in the marketplace. So no more excuses, just produce. Let's make this happen. Stop coddling and making excuses for your copy, your marketing, your operations, your entire business infrastructure not being clear enough to the amount of money that you want to make in return. It's time to take it up another level. So let's do it. Let's find clarity and let's go get this money.
And that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Digress. What was your takeaway? Care to share your thoughts and tag Troy on social media? You can find him on all platforms at Find Troy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review or comment for this episode from wherever you're listening. Looking for a marketing strategist to build the structure, strategies, and systems you need to get the success you want and the ROI you desire in your business? Book a discovery call to talk with Troy at findtroy.com. And as Troy's philosophy goes, imagination is the engine, content is the fuel, social media is the highway, marketing is the roadmap, sales is the destination, culture is the GPS. Thanks for listening.